You're listening to Cinematic Adventures, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Badges? We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
You make me want to be a better man.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
He's looking at you, kid.
I've always depended on the kindness of strangers.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Would you be shocked if I put on something more comfortable?
You know how to whistle, don't you, Steve? You just put your lips together and blow.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. If you're listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere you listen to podcasts. We want to wish you guys a very happy New Year and happy holiday season, and thank you guys for allowing us to take a break. We took the 1 week off, but we are back. It is the new year. I am Paul. With me in the studio is Sean. Sean, how are you today?
I am good, Paul. It's we needed that week just to regroup. I think
it was Sean's fault.
It's fine. I'll admit it.
I'll allow it.
I'm good.
It was busy for us, like trying to see new movies.
It was a mixture of things, and we just it worked.
Holidays. Producer Melanie and I went away for a few days, so logistically it was just a little difficult to sit down in the studio and do anything. But we are back. We're excited. We are going to do something a little bit different today because it is the new year. We're going to take a little look back,
a little stroll down memory lane
for some of these movies that we don't even remember.
That too.
We are going to look back at 2021 and talk kind of some of the movies and how movies did and how movies were and what the process was of even just going to see a movie in 2021, because it was a very different year for theaters, a different year for streaming, a different year for people like us who thoroughly enjoy movies but don't always get the chance to see them now. And it was a weird one. So what we're going to do is we are going to look through the entire list of movies for 2021 and pick out the ones that we actually saw and the ones that we want to discuss and kind of go
ones that we wanted to see and never got around to seeing it.
Very true. We were just reading an article on IMDb where apparently Edgar Wright watched 365 movies, a movie a day for the entire year. And the guy writing the article was like, I'm lucky if I saw 20. It's really weird because like this year was very strange.
So he watched 2021 movies, or he just watched a movie
a movie a day. Mostly 2021 movies, though, apparently. Yeah. While also promoting 2 movies himself. So that's pretty impressive.
What movies did he do again?
He had Last Night in Soho and something else. Oh. Yeah, I don't remember the other one. But before we do that, we do have a little bit of sad news.
Yeah, we had some sad news. New Year's Eve, 2021 going out on a big... Can I say what I want to say? But no. Betty White, who was 17 days away from her 100th birthday, sadly passed away on New Year's Eve. So that obviously threw a monkey wrench into the entertainment world the last 2 days. For anyone out there who doesn't know who Betty White is, where have you been the last 10 years? Because her career absolutely was revitalized in the last 15. Because I'm trying to remember when that Snickers commercial first happened. I think it was a I remember it was a Super Bowl. I just don't remember which one. And that, really just pushed her back into the limelight. She did that Ryan Reynolds Sandra Bullock movie, The Proposal. So she really kind of jumped back into the limelight. I mean, this lady's been around since the 50s in TV. I mean, she's on 2 of the greatest TV shows of all time, Mary Tyler Moore and Golden Girls. So, I mean, just, an amazing career. She sadly will be missed, but she lived a hell of a life.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I was a fan of her. She was just funny. She was always
hysterical.
Her and Ryan Reynolds flirting on Twitter was my favorite thing in the whole world. Just adorable and just such a good... Just like a good person.
And the funny thing is, with her 2 characters that she played on TV, I mean, could you... 2 totally opposite characters. I mean, Mary Tyler Moore, she's like, a sex hound, basically, and then in Golden Girls, she's literally a blithering idiot. And it's just, she hits both roles out of the park, and she's hysterical.
I love it. But we also, on a more upbeat note, the Harry Potter reunion special released this past week.
Yesterday, yeah. January 1st. And I did watch it yesterday because, I had the day off and had the time. So
how long is it?
Hour and a half.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it doesn't drag. It talks about all 8 movies, but not like, ridiculously long amount of time.
Have you watched the Tournament of Champions show?
No, I refuse.
We watched the first episode and we hated it. It was so bad.
Because it's like all planned. It's all...
It seems very scripted, and it's a lot. It's all about the movies. It's not about the books. It's not about like...
really?
And I was a big fan of the books.
See, that'll be an interesting, to talk about the differences between the book and the movie,
We'd have to get producer Melanie on for that one.
Oh, absolutely.
Books and movies. Movies and books. Books and movies, movies and books, in that order. But I like the idea. They've been doing a lot of these reunion specials. It really started with they did the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion.
That's right.
That was like
HBO Max first, when first launched. That was like one of the big things on it.
HBO Max had the incredible benefit of having Warner Brothers as their parent company.
Yes.
You had access to a ton of things, just the DC properties alone, and then you have access to all these TV shows. And they say what you will, Netflix has always kind of dominated the streaming services, but
Netflix, I felt that they were good enough in the original content department that they were able to let these shows go. I mean, I remember when Friends left Netflix because the word came out, HBO Max has bought the rights to Friends, that'll be the only place you can watch Friends on streaming. And it was a decent gap. Because HBO Max hadn't come out yet. So it left Netflix, and everybody's like, oh, what's Netflix doing? I'm like, they'll survive. Don't worry. They got plenty of content on that show. But if you go on Netflix, there's not a lot of
other properties,
TV shows there as much anymore, because they've all been bought up by other streamers, because these other streamers need these big shows to really solidify the reason to pay for them. So HBO Max got Friends, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, West Wing, and they've added a lot of TV shows in the last year too.
And now they're finally making original shows.
Yeah.
And they're also making original shows based off properties they have, like Peacemaker's coming out this month.
That's right.
And that's
the Kaylee Cuoco show. I can't remember if that's actually on HBO or if that's just on Max. I'm not sure.
Flight Attendant?
The Flight Attendant. I don't remember if that's streaming only. But yeah, no, HBO as a whole has some of the greatest TV shows in history. But in terms of just HBO Max, they're getting into the game of original programming as well. But you had the Fresh Prince reunion special, which I didn't watch. I was not a huge Fresh Prince fan. I'll watch it every now and then.
We were a little young for it, which is weird because it is a childish show for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it was early 90s.
And they tackled some stuff in it.
Oh, they did. There were some great episodes. I mean, the episode with his father.
Oh, yeah.
That's still one of the hardest scenes to watch. And that's when you knew Will Smith was going to be a good actor.
Oh, yeah.
Watching that scene. And then you got the West Wing. They did a special on that. And then the big one, obviously, was Friends. Mm-hmm. And that was the huge one because they've been for years trying to get all of them together to do something. So, now comes the Harry Potter. We've hit, and I can't believe I'm saying this, we've hit 20 years since that first movie came out.
Crazy.
And wow. And it I will admit, watching it, you get a little holy crap, I grew up with these people. We were in high school when the first movie came out. So
were we?
2001.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, November 20, 2001.
We were freshmen in high school.
Freshmen in high school.
Wow.
So, just watching that, it brought back a lot of memories for those first movies.
I didn't read the books until I saw the first movie.
Yeah.
So I saw the first movie, and then I read the books. Because I remember not being very clear on something in the second book, and then seeing it in the movie. I was like, oh.
Yep. No.
Sometimes you need to see it.
That's true. But I definitely recommend
the reunion special.
The reunion special. It was good.
Worth the time. Speaking of other things that are definitely worth your time, Cobra Kai.
Ooh.
Season 4 just released also. I believe New Year's Eve it released.
That's right. You did say you had watched
10 episodes.
7 of the 10 episodes New Year's Eve.
Something like that. But that's the thing. That it's a very short, episodic thing. To put it in context, producer Melanie and I watched The Witcher Season 2, which is 8 episodes, but they're about an hour to an hour and a half per episode. It took us days. I finished Cobra Kai in 24 hours. Because they're 32. I think the longest one's like 47 minutes.
Yeah,
like that's nothing. That's an afternoon. That's a Sunday afternoon watching TV.
Pretty much.
So if you guys have not seen Cobra Kai season 4, highly recommend it. It is definitely their shift. I think it's their first season like that Netflix fully did and created. Because I want to say seasons 1 and 2 were definitely all YouTube when they were trying to do theirs.
Season 3, I believe, was still YouTube, but it's either before it premiered is when Netflix bought the rights.
I think season 3. So basically what happened, for those of you guys who don't know, YouTube tried to create their own streaming service, and their big flagship show was Cobra Kai, which, we're just talking about the reunion special. It was the perfect nostalgia bait and, just a fun revisit to these characters. And we'll do an episode on Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid series at some point, but give people a chance to watch season 4, Sean. But, you.
How long did it take me to watch seasons 1 through 3?
Took you forever, and it was worth it, though, right?
I know, but I ended up watching all 3 seasons literally in 2 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think they had finished filming season 3 when Netflix took it, because like YouTube TV did not last.
No,
did not last that long.
It's still around, isn't it? I think YouTube. It's. I don't know what exactly. Because I keep getting alerts when I'm on YouTube. It's like,
I know they have the YouTube Prime.
Maybe that's YouTube Premium or something. I don't
know. Something like that. YouTube Red or whatever. I don't know. So many different things. So
YouTube Red.
I think this was the first season, though, that they fully produced and filmed on their own. And you could see the difference a little.
Better quality or just...
more F-bombs, surprisingly. Yeah, there were a few F-bombs, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This is Netflix now, and they can say what they want. It's funny watching Netflix shows because they're the most tame thing in the world, or they are completely wild. There's no in between.
Yeah, you got Fuller House, and then you got
the Altered Carbon is what Mel and I just started watching. She's seen season 1. I've never seen it. It is literally just violence and sex and drugs and just people dying. Like it's a great show, but yeah. That's what it is. So that kind of wraps us up in our news. Before we take our commercial break, just let's talk about going to the movies in 2021. Going to the movies in 2021
was better than going to the movies in 2020 because you couldn't go to the movies in 2020 after March 15th.
I think the first movie we got to see in theaters wasn't until December
of 2020.
And that was to go see Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's right. I didn't go with you though. I saw it at home. I saw it on HBO Max.
I think we watched it on HBO Max. No, we didn't.
No, but you and Ronnie and producer Melanie went to the theater because I remember because I think I met up with you guys after to do our
Wonder Woman episode,
and everybody was just
miserable.
You were miserable for numerous reasons. I was just miserable because the movie sucked.
Yeah,
but we couldn't get food.
I would like to put on the record that I did not sound like that.
We didn't get food.
So to go to the movies in 2020, in December when they first reopened, first and foremost, there was absolutely no food available. Yes. They would not serve any food. They would not let you bring food in. So, that's already like a punch in the nuts. It's like I'm so excited to have because I love having snacks at the movies. I love my popcorn. I love my big bottle of water. Sean, you get your pretzels. And then you go to an AMC and they're like, "Do you want mozzarella sticks?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, we want mozzarella sticks!" And they make good mozzarella sticks. Who knew?
I've never seen you have the mozzarella sticks.
I've had them at AMC once or twice. But we go into the theater and. Yeah, you have to keep your mask on the whole time. You have to. They're staggered seating, so it was a weird experience. It was a not fun experience.
Well, the theaters obviously weren't at full capacity, so when you would buy your ticket and you pick your seats, it would automatically black out the seats around you, the seats directly in front of you, and the seats directly behind you, which I love that. Because there's nothing worse than just having someone behind you or in front of you or next to you that either won't shut up, doesn't know what a movie theater etiquette is. So I love that. I know that was not going to last, obviously, once theaters went back to full capacity, but I love that. I just love to know that I just had my little space around me and no one could bother me. But yeah, I didn't see Wonder Woman in theaters, but were showing older movies in theaters because again, no movies were coming out. So how did movie theaters stay in business? They were, showing retro movies, trying to get people to go to the theater to see. They had Pixar movies playing. I know I went to go see. They had the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playing and stuff like that. The drive-ins were big for showing older movies summer. So the movie theaters were still open, obviously, after the lockdown ended, but new movies, really, I think, was Wonder Woman maybe one of the first?
Wonder Woman was the first big...
Yeah.
Because after this, full spoilers, we didn't go to the movie theater for almost 3 months.
King Kong, until Kong Godzilla.
Yeah, that was
Godzilla Kong, I can't remember.
Godzilla versus Kong.
I can never remember.
You got this, don't worry. But that was the first movie that we had seen in theaters, and we were dying to see it in theaters. As soon as we sat down in the theater, we hated sitting down in the theater because you had kids yelling and people were throwing things. Like, I remember we had a terrible movie-going experience. And it was in March of 2021 where almost a year into COVID, they finally were getting loose with the restrictions. And I don't think they had the staggered seating anymore.
For Godzilla Kong?
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Now that you say that, I don't think so, because I feel like that theater
was
pretty crowded. Obviously they brought back the food, so you were able to get popcorn and we were able to get drinks. I don't remember there being spacing, but I don't remember also feeling like, holy crap, I'm like uncomfortable with how crowded it is. But it was crowded.
Yeah.
But that was a big movie, it was interesting.
Yep. So on that, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to talk some of our favorite movies of 2021. But first, a quick break. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by Raise Energy Drinks. Raise is a proud member of Rep Sports, and if you guys are looking for a little extra kick during your day, whether you need to tackle a workout or you need to get over that afternoon slump, you can always check out Raise Energy, and if you get to checkout and you enter the code CINEMATIC, not only will you be getting a 15% discount, but you'll also be supporting the network. So that's Raise Energy with Rep Sports. Code is CINEMATIC, CINEMATIC. All right, we are back, and it is time to talk about the year movies came back and the year we still didn't see too many of them.
That's very true.
So when Sean and I started this podcast, we had a really big, we wanted to talk about current movies that were coming out, movies that we saw. Usually,
when did we start this again?
That's a great question. I don't know. I could probably really easily. It
was the end of 2019, right?
Something like that.
It was the summer of 2019, so we were, movies were still open, but.
Better than the summer of '69. That was a terrible year. Terrible year. But the idea was always to do movies that had just come out. Man, I can't believe we are more than 50 episodes in. That's awesome. September 6th, 2020. So we were, that was our first episode of Cinematic Adventures. Yeah. Oof. Rough. And that was on Don't Call Me Shirley. It was all of our...
that's right.
All of our
Paul's
parody
like,
movies.
Hey, you want to do a movie podcast? I'm like, you can't go to the movies. What are we going to talk about?
Right? But so the idea was always to do the modern movies, even though usually we'll see a movie, then a week later we'll talk about it, or usually we'll see it a week after it's come out. So for us, it was always a little iffy on that to begin with. Yeah. Now, also having said that, we're going to start at the beginning of the year with January.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, January statistically is not the most...
No, January is like the dump month because for some, again, I'm a big fan of movies. January has always been the movies of the year previous that, obviously either get delayed or don't have a lot of, award buzz that the studio felt like they needed to get that movie in the previous year. So it is very rare you get I'm not going to say a quality movie because there are good movies that come out, obviously. But if you're looking for that movie that might be Oscar worthy at the end of the year, it is once in a blue moon you'll get that, in January. Fun fact, I think Gladiator is the one movie that's won Best Picture that came out at the beginning of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
I will have to look into that.
Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that movie came out either in January or February of the year it came out.
Well, it's funny because this year coming up is totally different. You got the first real movie that's coming out is the 355, which is that female team up spy movie. One of your favorites, Hotel Transylvania. I know. Scream.
Yeah.
The King's Daughter with what's his face, Pierce Brosnan. Morbius too. And apparently a new Ice Age. Who knew?
I think that's streaming only, though.
Is it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Disney Plus.
And then in March, we got The Batman.
I'm so excited. But we are talking about last year. Maybe we'll do an episode looking forward.
So weird saying last year.
I know, right? So January of last year, really, nothing came out that, we saw. Like, in all honesty.
I'm looking at the list, and I'm just like, I don't remember half of these movies at all. I mean, nothing jumps out at me in terms of, oh, hey, I wanted to see that, but I just never got around to it. So, yeah.
You got The Marksman with Liam Neeson, where he's like a cowboy Taken type character. Liam Neeson has turned into basically like the old badass.
Yeah.
Very Clint Eastwoody, where he's like the older guy with a specific set of skills, and he's just a badass. I still love his cameo in
Ted 2.
Yeah, Ted 2.
That was good.
I was told these tricks are exclusively for children. Yeah, tricks are for kids. And then at the end of the movie, he comes back all beaten up to return the tricks. They were just for kids. They don't do tricks commercials anymore. Total side note. I do.
Now that you say that, yeah, you're right.
No.
You don't see a lot of the... I think the Lucky Charms is like the only really...
Yeah, cereal commercials are kind of... Yeah, occasionally the Fruit Loops one with the new Toucan Sam, where he's all animated.
You don't see the Fruity Pebbles or the Cocoa Pebble commercials anymore. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah.
You only see adult cereal commercials. Maybe we just also don't watch the right channels, because
that too.
I don't usually watch Nickelodeon.
We grew up watching Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel, Cartoon Network. We don't watch any of those networks anymore.
It's sad. Now, moving into February, same kind of situation. We really... Like, Cherry was one of the bigger ones that came out with Tom Holland. It was like his first
non-Marvel movie
in a while.
Judas and the Black Messiah was another one that I did want to see, never got around to it.
I mean, really, January and February were kind of... Oh, I do want to mention, honorable mention, where is it? Tom and Jerry came out. And the reason I do an honorable mention for Tom and Jerry was because it was one of the first movies after Wonder Woman that came out also on HBO Max.
I remember that.
You know, because that was a whole big thing with the idea of streaming and releasing movies. You know, some directors were really against it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was, again, the whole... I think if you go back and listen to our... I don't remember which episode we did where we were discussing... It was the episode we talked about the whole Scarlett Johansson, issue. But my whole argument with the whole streaming thing was, it's not just there's people out there who are never going to have any sympathy for Hollywood because, they make so much money, they don't deserve it, yada, yada, yada. I said, well, okay, fine. If you don't like the actors, you don't like the studio, that's fair. But you know what? It's not just them. There's thousands of people that work on movies that, are not nowhere near making the money that obviously the actors, the directors, the screenwriters make. There's the cinematographers, there's the costume people,
the PAs.
The PAs. I mean, there are tons of people that work on movies that deserve more respect than they get. So I always felt with the whole streaming thing was like, I just want to know, do the people get the same money they would get from a theatrical release?
I think the general crew probably do, because so basically the way movies, or at least the salaries work, they're one of two ways. One, you get a flat salary, like here's your money, this is what you get to do this role. Here's your $10 million up front, part of our budget.
Or cool. You get percentage of the gross,
which was what Scarlett Johansson was supposed to get.
Yes,
and she claimed that Disney reneged on that deal by putting it onto streaming as well, and then not giving her any proceeds from people who had to buy it via streaming. So I get what both sides were thinking. It just was not handled properly on Disney's end.
No, Disney. I will admit, my whole thing with that was I wanted to make sure that is it true that Disney, basically did that kind of underhanded, way of doing that, but. For the most part, I hear that's what they did. So, yeah, I definitely sided with Scarlett Johansson on that.
Well, they also had the same issue with, what was it? Spider-Man, where Marvel and Sony came to a disagreement about using Spider-Man in the MCU and all that stuff, because Disney was like, we want more money. And they made Sony out to be the bad guys.
Yeah.
But then it comes out like a week after all this started that Sony only makes money from the actual box office. They make money based off of how the movie does.
They don't get any of the merchandising. They don't get any
all
of
that goes to Marvel.
Yeah.
So Marvel and Spider-Man is considered the most profitable superhero of all time. Higher than Batman, higher than Superman. And that's mind-boggling sometimes. Mm-hmm. But then again, when we get to December, when we talk about Spider-Man, we'll talk about.
Well, when you think, and I know we don't really want to go off on a tangent here, but now that I think about that, where do you go to get Batman and Superman merchandise? There's no Warner Brothers store anymore.
Those are the days.
You walk into any Disney store now. I know there's a lot of Disney stores that have gone out of business because Disney's going away from the whole brick and mortar, stuff in malls and stuff. I think you have to go to Targets now to get Disney merchandise. But you walk anywhere in Disney World or any Disney store, and there's any Marvel character you want. Mm-hmm. Where do you go to get a Batman figure or a Superman figure?
Your average toy store, Kohl's. I don't know.
Yeah. But really, when you think about that, to me, I just remember as a kid going into the Warner Brothers store, and it was every DC character. Now, I didn't really know a lot about the characters at that time. Obviously Batman and Superman, yes, but I didn't know who Green Lantern was. I didn't know who Wonder Woman really was. But they had all the toys there. Now it's you got to go online and get them.
Yeah. Well, going back to where we were, March is when movies
starts to pick up.
Movies started to pick up, and that's every year. That's not just an exclusive thing, but this is when it started to really pick up. So first and foremost, we had Coming to America. Now, Sean, you saw Coming to America.
I did see Coming to America. I walked away from that movie pretty much knew what I was going to get. I didn't expect the movie to be anywhere close to being better than the original, because Coming to America is one of the funniest movies ever made. Mm-hmm. But it was fun seeing all the actors come back. You had Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. You had both of them playing multiple characters again. It was what it was. I chuckled a few times. There were a few good laughs, but I think out of 5, I would have given that movie 2.5 to a 3
completely
at best. It was an average movie. I reckon if you're a fan of the first one, watch it. It's fun to see Eddie Murphy kind of go back to a character he hasn't done in years. But again, if you don't see it, you're not missing anything.
Yeah. We had the SpongeBob movie, SpongeBob on the Run, and that came out exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Yep, you had Raya and the Last Dragon,
which was the first
strictly Disney Plus.
No, it came out in theaters, but you could get it on Disney Plus at the same time.
And you didn't have to.
I think you still had to pay.
'Cause remember, Onward came out on Disney Plus right around the pandemic, and you didn't have to pay for that
because it literally got shut down.
That's right. Mulan was the first premiere.
And people were pissed, and especially for a movie that was just okay.
Yeah, still never saw it.
There's no songs in it.
Let's get down to
Don't start, because I'll have that stuck in my head all day. But then you got Chaos Walking. I don't know if you know Chaos Walking, but it was Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley.
Ooh.
And it was supposed to be this big summer blockbuster type movie, but apparently it was terrible, based off a book, and it just the source did not translate well, which sucks because I want them to find something for Daisy Ridley. I really do like Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the Star Wars trilogy. We'll eventually get to the new trilogy.
I don't blame the actors for that movie.
No. I blame the studio.
Well, the studio, the scripts, it just was. But I will stand by the fact that I was not thrilled when Disney bought Lucasfilm, because I just knew what they were going to do. They were going to milk that franchise for as much as they could.
Which is funny because we said that, and then they started doing the spin-offs. Rogue One apparently has a huge cult following.
It was a good movie.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
But you walked into that movie going, I know what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah, but still,
there was no
that
the Darth Vader scene is to me one of the best scenes ever
in Star Wars. Yeah,
and because it was unexpected,
and also apparently a reshoot.
Yeah, you're
which is
right.
even crazier.
But I just, yes, we got Star Wars Land in Disney, and don't get me wrong, that is pretty incredible the way they built that. But Disney has just watered down Star Wars, in my opinion.
Oh, very much.
Minus, I have not seen it, and I know I should. The Mandalorian, I hear, is fantastic. I have not heard any reviews yet on Boba Fett.
Watch the first episode.
Okay,
it's good.
And then I cannot wait for Obi-Wan. That's the one I'm looking forward to. Is Obi-Wan? I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, but you also get your Solo.
Yeah,
which I've seen once.
I saw it once in theaters. Was it the greatest thing I ever saw? No. Was it horrible? It wasn't horrible, but did it have to happen? No.
No. We don't need to know about these dice. Why do they keep talking about the dice?
But this is my issue. This was like, and then we get the Boba Fett TV show, but originally we're like, oh, let's do a Boba Fett movie. And I'm like, why?
I think
why do we need this?
They got ahead of themselves before they needed to. I think Solo could have been a Disney Plus series.
I would, yeah. I think that Disney Plus didn't exist when Solo came out.
And that's the thing. They got ahead of themselves, and had they known that they were going to have Disney Plus and The Mandalorian, which is really one of the best Star Wars properties.
I'll be honest. If you look back, the way Mandalorian has been, again, we'll see what the reviews of Boba Fett are and Obi-Wan, but you could look back and honestly say that Solo could have been a series. Rogue One could have been a good little mini series to do. Again, Rogue One was a good movie. I'm not knocking it as a movie. It was just, did it have to happen? No. We know the story. We didn't need to see it, but still enjoyed, the 2 hours. But that could have worked as a miniseries on Disney Plus. And then we get, and then the trilogy, which I'll be honest, I've seen Force Awakens multiple times. Good movie. Basically a remake of New Hope, and I haven't seen the other two since seeing them in theaters.
I tried to rewatch The Last Jedi, and I hated it.
Yeah,
I have yet to sit down and really rewatch The Rise of Skywalker because I hated it. Just that's
it's a shame. It really is a shame, and even George Lucas is. I think he's just probably beside himself.
Now going down the list, we have arguably what I was looking forward to the most and one of the smartest ideas, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Released on HBO Max. Sean rolled his eyes so hard as I said that. But it was a brilliant marketing move for them on this brand new streaming service to really lock people in. Because they announced it, I think, in like November the previous year.
It was, yes.
And they're like, yeah, coming exclusively to HBO Max. Because HBO Max, I think, launched in like December of 2020. Right before Wonder Woman.
Oh, you're probably right there.
And they were like, and we're going to, the Snyder Cut does exist, and so, like, it was smart. It was very smart marketing on...
And now it's like every movie, it's like, let's get this cut, let's get that cut.
Well, apparently...
Batman Forever, the Joel Schumacher cut, then the Suicide Squad, the David Ayer cut. Yeah. I'm like, guys, some of these cuts might not actually really exist.
Well, and also some of these cuts may not be better. I mean, you look at, like, everybody talks about the Donner cut for Superman 2. Is it better? It's different.
The Donner cut, the problem with the Donner cut is half of it didn't exist.
Yeah, they had to actually
they used a stand-in, to film scenes. And I remember watching this going like, this is horrible.
It's like a fan film.
Why did we
This is what we wanted?
I didn't need this.
Now, going down, we have arguably this was the first real blockbuster of the year. It's Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Kong, we did an episode on it. We did a whole Monster Month leading up to it, which was a lot of fun.
We did. Yeah. Had a good time with that.
And, it was a good movie. Like, we enjoyed it. And
you knew what you were walking into, and it didn't disappoint.
Correct.
I did not walk out of that theater going like, oh, well, they messed that up. No. They went on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of just over-the-top action.
Balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall, and they hit every note.
It was exactly what we wanted it to be. Yeah. Like, we don't need big monkey versus big lizard. We don't need more context than that. No. And they figured that.
And I remember the reviews, obviously, like, the issue everybody had with the first Godzilla was, you don't see enough Godzilla. It's all the human actors. Then in,
King of the Monsters,
there's too many monsters and not enough on the actors. And then in the third one, I think the argument was that just, again, the human actors were pointless. And I'm like, what do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want? Like, to me, the human actors aren't a factor. Yes, they add to the story, but
they move the plot along.
They move the plot along, but you don't need them to be like, Laurence Olivier here. Like, come on, like,
I just need big monkey, big lizard team up against robot.
What do you want? You want Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria again?
Easy.
I like that movie.
I know you like that movie, you weirdo. We also had in March Nobody.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk getting his, basically his Taken. But it was fun. It was also, what was his name? Christopher Lloyd had a great little role in that movie.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
I love it.
It was fun.
All right, now we're getting into April, which, again, statistically is not like for some reason, March is a big movie month. Like, it's right at the beginning of the quarter, I guess. And
April's like that. if you're going to release in April, either release it in the summer. Like if you want it to be a movie that's going to make a lot of money.
The biggest months for movies are statistically March, July, August, September, and then December. You'll get also like your bigger ones in November.
Yeah. Well, March, I'm curious how they just, March, usually you get like a winter break in there for schools and stuff. So you think you get
the weather starts getting a little bit nicer.
Yeah, obviously summer and then obviously Christmas time. But one movie here in April that I know you saw, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, which was way better than it deserved to be. It was not Oscar worthy or anything along those lines, but it was finally the rated R Mortal Kombat movie I always wanted. Thunder Force also came out on Netflix with Melissa McCarthy. It was like a superhero type movie.
Yeah, no desire.
The reviews were horrible.
No desire.
But really, in terms of movies, that's pretty much the ones that I saw. Yeah. But going down into April now, we have Army of the Dead, which was Zack Snyder's big movie after the Justice League. But I suppose it was okay. I didn't see it. I had no desire. As much as I love Dave Bautista, I also I'm not like, I need to see the new Dave Bautista movie.
Yeah, he's kind of...
He's just one of those guys.
What was that one with him and the little girl?
Oh, God. Stuber? No.
I don't remember.
Something like that.
I just remember, again, all that was about to come out like right before the lockdown, and I don't remember if it ever actually hit theaters.
Well, there's only one thing to do. Completely look this up as we're discussing it, and then use words while I'm talking
Quiet Place 2.
My Spy.
My Spy.
Stuber was another movie he did with Kumar Nanjiani, the guy from Eternals.
Ah, okay.
Thank you.
Quiet Place Part 2.
Did you see either of the Quiet Places?
I did not, but I hear the first one's fantastic.
First one is fantastic.
I heard the second one wasn't bad either, but obviously after watching the first Quiet Place, that's when the whole give John Krasinski, the director's chair for a Fantastic Four movie and have him and Emily Blunt
be the dream casting.
I know that's still up in the air about who's going to be in the Fantastic Four movie. Cruella was another Disney Plus / movie theater release. I still didn't see that, but I hear she was fantastic.
Yeah, but I heard
that the movie as a whole, just again, is it a character you really need to see the origin story to?
Unfortunately, Maleficent really opened the door for these.
Yeah,
and now we get a lot of these. Well, you don't know the whole story. I'm good. It started with Wicked. Wicked was the first one that did it and did it well, where it was like, this is the actual story that you don't know about.
Then we got Oz the Great.
Oh God, that movie was so bad. I love it. Oh man, Mila Kunis is the Wicked Witch. Silly.
I just heard Meg the whole time.
Oh,
I was just like, I can't do this.
Shut up, Meg. But yeah, I mean, Cruella was. Apparently, they're making a sequel.
Okay.
I don't know.
Again, she's a really good actress. I mean, I do like Emma Stone. She really is good in anything she does, but just.
Yeah. All right, now June. June's got some bangers in it.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yes.
Was a big.
That was a big
I saw
one.
the first Conjuring. Good.
Apparently, the series is well liked. It's not like. Again, it's not knocking on the doors of the Academy Awards.
No.
But we had...
In the Heights.
In the Heights was another one.
Which was, a lot of people expected a lot from. But again, I think the pandemic, not being released to theaters really hurt it. I think that was an HBO Max exclusive. I don't think that came... It might have came to theaters, but again, musicals are just really weird with audiences.
They're either...
We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah, they either destroy the box office and develop huge followings,
or they make no money.
No money. Yeah.
I mean, it really is surprising. That is a genre that is just hard to figure out.
Mm-hmm. You have the Misfits, which is funny considering, Misfit Faction Media Network. But apparently it was
It's not
horrible.
about us.
It was not about us, and it was apparently horrible. Don't watch it. Don't think of us when you don't watch it either.
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard came out.
Yes, and I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds. Like, he can make any movie, basically, and I'll try and go see it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see this one, because I didn't see the first one.
True.
Yeah.
Luca came out in June.
Luca was another one that... what was that, Disney?
Yes. No, was Luca Pixar? No, Luca's Pixar.
Which is Disney.
But it's Pixar.
It's Disney. Now, here's one that I hated. F9. I couldn't even tell you what the plot was.
I don't remember.
John Cena's the bad guy.
Yeah, that movie was just so ridiculous.
That's
and it's official, guys. The Rock will not be in any more Fast Furious.
This is all just marketing. This is all just marketing. Like, so have you watched Young Rock?
No.
So Mel and I watched Young Rock, and it's very entertaining. But they talk about, like, the entire time they're talking about selling the gimmick, right? Like, especially when they were all wrestlers, like, you have to sell your product. You're selling yourself. Yeah. That's why you create these stage personas. You know, The Rock was his stage persona, and The Rock is very... You watch old footage of him wrestling versus him now. He's a totally different person because that's his persona. He's selling the product. I would not be surprised if they're like, we squashed this rivalry for you guys. Because apparently, like, Vin Diesel went on social media and he was like, hey, for Paul Walker and Paul Walker's kids and for our fans, let's squash this beef, yo. And The Rock was like, how dare you use, like, his kids in an attempt to manipulate me? Like, so I don't know. I don't think he's going to come back, but I could also see this being one just big...
Honestly,
silly.
though, do we really need it? No.
No, I want Hobbs and Shaw Part 2. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't really... Hobbs and Shaw was okay, but... All right, moving into July.
So
we have The Tomorrow War, which was another movie that is apparently not bad with Chris Pratt, exclusively on Amazon Studios. Again, there's so many things to keep track of that I miss.
I know
things.
it was hard enough when movies just came to theaters. Now, just to, like, you know, any, you know, streamers that are exclusively on the streaming services, it's just hard to keep track of.
It's tough. You got the Fear Street came out, which I know that's something you and I have to sit down and watch.
I wanted to watch that. That looks good.
We still can. Maybe for Halloween next.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be fun. Black Widow came out, and I'm sure you heard our episode on Black Widow and our thoughts about it.
I enjoyed it. It's a movie, though, that had to happen 5-6 years ago.
I would say 10 years ago.
Well, that too.
Like, that movie was well overdue, and it should have been Clint Barton and Natasha, and Clint Barton trying to kill Natasha.
Yeah.
And, you know, then...
But we do get what's her name back in Hawkeye.
Yelena, who is a big...
She's going to become the new Black Widow.
Supposedly,
you know, yada, yada, yada. We get... I think all parts of Fear Street...
released this month,
released in this month, so we got I can't speak. Fear Street Part 2.
Oh, Part 2. Gunpowder Milkshake was a movie I really wanted to see. It's on Netflix. It's Karen Gillan's in it, and it just looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, this next one is
Space Jam: A New Legacy. Crap. Yeah, it's one of my favorite running jokes from us.
Oh god, this movie was just god awful.
It was so bad.
We saw the train wreck coming. There was maybe a minuscule moment where you're like, oh, maybe it'll be okay. No, it was crap.
No,
crap all the way through.
We get Pig, which was Nicolas Cage's, like, apparently one of his best performances of all time.
He's getting an Oscar buzz for it, actually.
Crazy. It's basically
he's an Academy Award-winning actor, though.
We can't forget that.
He's a running joke now, but let's not forget, like, from the 90s into, like, the mid-2000s, he was a really good actor. Mm-hmm. I mean, Leaving Las Vegas, Adaptation, he is a really good actor. He's an absolute running joke now, just because he's crazy. He always plays crazy well, but he picks the worst movies.
Well, you know what it was? He dived too deep into the Hollywood lifestyle, and he was buying obnoxiously expensive things for the sake of buying obnoxiously. Yeah. He had like a dinosaur fossil in his house for like $10,000 a bone or something stupid. So like he ran up, he has no money. Like he went bankrupt. So he would do any movie basically, which, you know, kind of sucks.
The last good movie he did, well, minus this one, The Pig, which again I haven't seen yet, but I enjoyed when he did the movie Drive Angry.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Amber Heard, and that one was an enjoyable movie. That was during the whole 3D craze, but they did it like, you know, fun 3D, like
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, that's another great one. Harold.
Then we have Jungle Cruise.
Yep, Jungle Cruise,
which I actually watched for the first time yesterday, and it was good. I recommend it.
Snake Eyes.
Nah, I like the Nicolas Cage Snake Eyes movie. That was a good movie.
But Jungle Cruise is another movie that it shouldn't have been as good as it was, but it was still a good time, from what I was told. I know you said you saw it.
It was good. It reminded me a lot of the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. Very similar kind of just feel to it, storyline. But I thought they came up with an interesting idea to tie in, you know, the whole rides, Disney ride, to make it into a movie. You know, they did it with Pirates of the Caribbean. They tried to do it with Haunted Mansion. They're going to be doing it again with Haunted Mansion. Tower of Terror, you know, all those, you know, that's a new big thing now for Disney, is turning their rides into...
It started with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean was the first one. It was a huge hit. Then Haunted Mansion fell on its face. Country Bears Jamboree. Still can't think they made a movie out of
Ironically, Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy wasn't bad.
No, but
it was just also dark too. Like
they want to go full like actual haunted,
you
know, horror movie with this. They don't want it to be, you know, jokey or anything like that.
Fun family film. Going into August, Suicide Squad.
I didn't like this movie at all.
You really?
I did not like it. The more it festers, I just didn't enjoy it. It just didn't do it for me.
Are you gonna watch Peacemaker?
No. I absolutely despise the character. Just nothing, you know. And then John Cena's just awful. I'm sorry. It's just too over the top.
All right, then. You can send your hate mail to Sean Barrett at... No.
Really? Like, I'm not the only one that did not like that movie.
All right. Don't tell producer Melody you don't like John Cena.
Really?
Yeah, she likes John Cena. She's a big wrestling. She loves wrestling.
I knew she loves The Rock.
She likes John Cena, too. I think John Cena has gotten better now that they've given him more funny roles. He's definitely better with comedy than he is straight up action. Free Guy. We loved Free Guy.
This was good. This was just one of those pleasant surprise movies.
I would argue Free Guy was in my top 5 for the year.
I have no problem with that statement.
We just rewatched it last night. Producer Melanie saw it for the first time. I saw it for the second. And
she wasn't with us when we saw that?
It was her bachelorette weekend.
Oh, you mean Ronnie saw it?
Yeah. So it was just such a good time.
That was as pleasant a surprise like as Detective Pikachu was.
Yes.
You know, just again, you walking in the movie, you're like, I don't know what this is going to be, but
it was just
not disappointed, and it was a lot of fun.
Nothing beats Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu singing the Pokemon theme song all sad, though. That was the best thing ever. But going down, let's see. Don't Breathe 2. I remember the first Don't Breathe, and I remember it was like messed up. So,
messed
up. Let's see. Candyman. Are you familiar with the Candyman franchise at all?
I know of it, but I've never really...
I think I've seen the first one, but I want to actually sit down and watch this new one. Let's see. He's All That, which was a sequel to She's, or
it's a redo.
Redo, basically, same general idea. But apparently they had Matthew Lillard,
Rachel Lee Cook, and Matthew Lillard were both in it. Not the same characters.
Yeah, they both just kind of came back for it, more for just funsies. Let's see. Now we're getting into September. September is a little...
You're getting into that. You're getting into the awards. You're starting to hit that time where movies come out that are Oscar buzz and, you know, highly anticipated movies. You know that this is when you start to see that.
Shang-Chi jumped.
This movie was, you know, I knew nothing. I mean, I still haven't seen it, but I mean, I remember, you know, everybody talking about this movie. I'm like, I had no idea.
You didn't see Shang-Chi?
No,
really?
I wasn't with you guys. No.
Oh, it was really good.
No, that's what I hear. And
you should watch it.
Maybe.
Well, it's like I don't even know you sometimes. My Little Pony: A New Generation. No, I'm just kidding. It did come out, but I didn't see it. Now,
did you watch that Amazon Cinderella?
No, I didn't. With Camila Cabello.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it. Going into October now, we had Venom: Let There Be Carnage, which
bit of a letdown of a movie.
And especially considering what happens with Spider-Man, even more of a letdown of a movie. And then Addams Family 2. I know you saw the first one. Did you see the sequel?
I did not.
No Time to Die. We did a whole month on James Bond.
Did.
And we did our No Time to Die talk, and just it was a little underwhelming.
It was good. It was a good movie, but there were definitely a lot of underwhelming moments about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, again, spoiler alert: he dies at the end, which still really hasn't sunk in for me.
That James Bond is dead.
That they killed him, like, because I know he's coming back, like that. That's
in a different franchise.
That was a ballsy move, and until they announce the new James Bond, it's just gonna fester, and you're just gonna be like, how are you gonna start the new one? Because it's always just been the movie ends,
and then
the next movie it's a new actor playing the character. But the fact that you killed him off, and now you're gonna, it's weird. Like, that kind of scares me that they honestly don't know where they're going with this. So, you know, I didn't see it, but I heard mixed on it, The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos prequel. I hear you don't have to know anything about The Sopranos to see the movie and to, like, enjoy the movie, but I was never into The Sopranos.
We were a little young for The Sopranos when it came out.
Oh God, yeah, we were
very young.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills.
I loved the first one, the new one with Jamie Lee Curtis. The second one, though, I hear was kind of like, again, just didn't have to happen.
Yeah.
And that's been Halloween's problem. Obviously the original franchise, that first one is a classic. Halloween 2 just was like, really? And then just went nonstop from there. Then Rob Zombie did his. The first one was actually really good, and then the second one was utter crap. It's very hard, you make a good movie and it's very hard to duplicate, what you did that first time.
The Last Duel. Now, I wanted to bring this movie up because Ridley Scott destroyed comic book movies because of this.
Oh, really?
He blamed, so this movie, Ridley Scott's a great director. I've always enjoyed his stuff, but it didn't do well, this movie.
No.
Supposedly, the reviews were fine, but the box office, it only grossed, let's see, its budget was $100 million. It grossed $30 million. Yeah, and it had a great cast. Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ben Affleck.
It's obviously more it's comic book movies' fault. It's not that we were still dealing with pandemic and just people weren't going to see movies as much. And you know what? No offense, Ridley, but your track record has not been that good lately.
He blamed the box office failure on millennials, arguing, I think what it boils down to is that what we've got today, our audience that was brought up on these blank cell phones, the millennials do not ever want to be taught anything unless you are told it on a cell phone. So he blamed millennials for this. Homie, we're millennials. We're doing a podcast about movies. Don't blame the millennials, right? Because a lot of actors or a lot of directors are like, superhero movies and modern movies are crap, and it's dude. There's this big trope that comic book movies especially are not actual movies, but you get to a movie like Spider-Man, which we'll talk about, and even Avengers and the whole series, those are great sources of entertainment, and it's kind of silly that they're still.
You know me, I'm a huge movie fan. I will never say a bad thing about a comic book movie, because yes, there are bad comic book movies. There are bad movies. Mm-hmm. It just happens. But to judge, an entire genre and say that it's crap, I'm like, why? Because it grossed more than your movie? Now don't get me wrong. If you put Gladiator up against Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm going to pick Gladiator. Gladiator is a fantastic movie. It's one of the best movies ever made. I don't
know. I wasn't really entertained.
Really?
Do you get it? Are you not entertained? Anyway, keep going.
You killed me.
I'm sorry, buddy. That was my bad. But you put it next to Spider. You actually say Gladiator is better than Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah.
So weird.
But again, I hate this argument. All comic book movies are crap. Why? Exactly what is it? And listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I get it, but just because these comic book movies are out doesn't mean I don't want to see a good regular dramatic film either. Mm-hmm. If Scorsese came out with a new movie, I would want to see it.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, I'm sorry, but a lot of his movies lately have been not that good. So he's not got the same amount of clout to me as he did 20 years ago.
Right.
Scorsese, I think all his movies have been really good. So except for The Irishman, I thought was a little overrated, but that's me.
All right, going down the list now that Sean's, taking a breath. He got all fired up. I love it. Dune came out, which
I heard very good things about.
Yeah, I need to see it.
I do need to see that. Obviously, it's only part one, so they're going to come out with the second part in a couple years. Mm-hmm. That was a risky move because I don't think you ever saw the original Dune. I saw it
vaguely.
They released it back in you did a one night thing of it at in
Alamo.
Was it Alamo
or
no, I think AMC did it and went to see it, and it is a trippy movie. Mm-hmm. It's just a trippy movie, but it's based off a book, and of course they took the book and they condensed it into one movie. So this time around, they were like, we're going to go full on. We're going to do part one and part two. And I'm like, well, you better hope part one succeeds.
Yeah.
And it did. It's getting award buzz. It's nominated for Golden Globes. So good for them. And a great cast.
Oh, killer cast.
Great cast.
All right, jumping into November because we are also running low on time. Who knew?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, almost went an hour. Eternals started off the month.
Still never saw it.
It was wildly okay.
This movie I heard was garbage. Red Notice.
I've heard good things about. Well, I heard good things about the cast and the three of them, but it's Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne Johnson. There's so much charisma. I can't even like talk about it.
This one I highly recommend for anyone out there. Tick Tick Boom.
I thought you were
Netflix.
going to say Clifford the Big Red Dog.
No.
I was so excited.
No, sorry.
Tick Tick Boom is supposedly very his performance, Andrew Garfield's performance.
The movie is good. Lin-Manuel Miranda directorial debut did a good job. Again, musical. It hits on a different note. I don't know. Again, if you're a Rent fan, this is a movie for you. Mm-hmm. If you are not, if you really don't know anything about the history of Rent, you may not enjoy it as much, but very well done. He is fantastic. I hope he wins the Academy Award for his performance because I thought he was that good.
We got, let's see, Home Sweet Home Alone, which I'm boycotting completely because I'm still really upset about it.
But not Home Alone 4, Home Alone 5, but this one.
I haven't seen those either.
You never saw the Home Alone 4?
I saw Home Alone 3.
Okay.
I saw bits and pieces of...
I remember when the 4 was released, it was like one for the Disney. And I was like, I gotta try it. It was just
I remember
god-awful.
seeing bits and pieces of it because it's like Kevin McAllister again, but he's much younger.
He's
and his
younger,
parents are getting
divorced. And then only Marv and his girlfriend.
And it's French Stewart this time, right?
Yes, I remember that.
Which is funny because they did Inspector Gadget 2 with French Stewart as Inspector Gadget.
He's much more Inspector Gadget than
apparently the whole thing is much better, which is funny. A movie that we are going to do a whole episode on, Ghostbusters Afterlife, came out.
So good. I love that movie.
It was very good. I think maybe when it comes out like on digital and we watch it again, because we saw it like at the tail end of its theater run. Like we were going to lose it. So we managed to get into it and see it. It was a fantastic movie.
King Richard, I hear, very good. Will Smith's getting a lot of buzz for his performance. That's the
the tennis one,
the Serena and Venus Williams story.
House of Gucci's another one that everybody's talking about.
House of Gucci as a movie, I'm not hearing amazing things about, but the performances are good. Lady Gaga's getting a lot of buzz. Jared Leto's getting buzz. Jared Leto's a really good actor. You got to give him props.
Oh, I give Jared Leto his props. I think there's sometimes he gets put in really bad movies.
Oh, he might not pick the greatest movie, but I think as a character, he'll go like so deep into that character. That's why I'm kind of shocked he's doing Morbius. I was just kind of, he must see something in that character that just fits his.
Such a B-list Marvel character too, which is even funnier.
Encanto is the new big Disney movie out right now.
It's getting some buzz.
There's a Resident Evil movie? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. 8-Bit Christmas was apparently very good.
Which one?
8-Bit Christmas.
Oh, that's right, HBO Max. Licorice Pizza, I hear very good things about.
Another big, what's it called? Academy buzz.
And then now we're into December, and this is where you get like the movies that most likely are going to get awards. West Side Story, which critically has just been getting praised. It's making no money.
Which sucks.
It's making no money. And this is where the whole musical thing I was talking about earlier comes into play. I don't get it. Like, if you look back on some of, like a movie like the original West Side Story, again, Academy Award winner, Best Picture, one of the greatest movies ever made, Sound of Music, Oklahoma, all that stuff. I mean, musicals back then were big. In the last, I'm trying to think, since the 70s, musicals are either just a hit or miss. Mm-hmm. It is, like Les Miserables. Got a lot of Academy Award noms, did very well. Cats, garbage. Look at Rent. Rent is one of the greatest stories ever done in terms of like how the play came about, how the musical came about. Huge hit on Broadway. The movie comes out and it's sort of a dud. I don't get it because I like the movie. I thought it was well done, but it's just weird. Don't Look Up, I hear, really good. I want to see that. Netflix. Not here.
Oh, sorry, I looked up.
God,
I'm sorry. Don't Look Up, I want to see. Let's see. And then
Being the Ricardos was very good.
Being the Ricardos was one. You were just watching it. Spider-Man No Way Home, we can't.
I heard okay things about it.
You're such a dick. No, I know Sean... You were at our Spider-Man No Way Home episode. Yeah, for the Multiverse Fancast, and we all agreed that it was well worth.
It was worth it. It was a good movie.
It met the hype.
I think I probably, after now 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we saw it. I'd probably go back and maybe take a little bit pointage off of it. Just because I think things have started to, in my head, I'm like...
Yeah, because we saw it right after.
We saw it literally, like...
We recorded right after we saw it.
Yeah, and again, it was a good movie. I look back on it and go like, they could have done a few things a little better, but that's just what happens when you see a movie. You're on such a high.
Yeah.
You got to let it fester in your head before you get a true review.
Nightmare Alley, that's another one I want to see.
Very good acting performances, I hear. Again, as a whole, it's slow.
It's Del Toro.
Film noirish.
The Matrix Resurrections, which has been completely split down the middle.
Really?
Mostly good reviews. A lot of good about the actors and that stuff, but like apparently like the story and the effects are a little divisive.
Oh,
but
wonderful.
Yeah, I got to sit down and watch it.
Sing 2. I never saw Sing.
No, it's another one of those the franchises.
DreamWorks,
Yeah.
Kingsman,
which we still have to see and do an episode on. Unfortunately,
the tragedy of Macbeth. I'm very interested in seeing with Denzel Washington. And American Underdog, I actually want to see, and that's the with Zachary Levi. It's the story of the quarterback Kurt Warner and his journey to the NFL and stuff like that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the year 2021. At least from what we, this was a very subjective list. We looked at the entire, list of movies, but really it was also about the movies that we saw, kind of our experiences. I'm sure a lot of people who've been to the movies can relate to a point. So. Yeah. Although, it wasn't a bad year for quality movies.
No. It was obviously compared to 2020. I remember watching the Academy Awards for the year of 2020, and you're just like, I never heard of half of these movies because they were all low-budget movies either that came out, prior to the pandemic or came out straight to streamers, and you had no idea what these movies are. So, that was a tough one. This year, it's going to be, there is going to be a lot more options in terms of good movies to see. Mm-hmm. But hopefully, knock on wood, 2022 gives us some good stuff. Anything jumps out at you that you are looking forward to in 2022? You know what I'm looking forward to, because it's been 2 years now. I'm actually looking forward to the Top Gun movie. I want to see this movie.
Yeah, that's another movie
that movie is going to come out literally almost 3 years after they probably filmed the damn movie.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy to me when I think about that.
I mean, not gonna lie, Batman's the one that jumps out.
Batman is the obvious one. Yeah,
I want to see Uncharted.
Uncharted looks good. What's the big Marvel? What's like the new next Marvel movie?
Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's right.
It comes out in May.
And then Morbius, obviously.
Morbius comes out in January. So Morbius comes out in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Jackass Forever.
I have no desire. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
The third one was tough.
Jurassic World Dominion. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a trailer for that yet.
I forgot about Jurassic World.
Yeah. Let's see. Thor: Love and Thunder comes out in July. Black Adam comes out in July also. July's gonna be a fun month. Let's see. Not a whole lot of listed movies. I think a lot of theaters are holding back just in case because they're not sure where things are going to go. But October to December looks fantastic. Ready? Listen to this. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Halloween Ends. The Flash. Black Panther. Creed 3.
Wait, when is this?
This is October to December. Let's see. Avatar 2. Yeah, right. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and the Mario movie. Yeah, wow. I am excited. Next year's going to be fun. But I think that pretty much wraps us up. We would love to hear from you guys what your favorite movie was of 2021.
Yeah, definitely.
What movies you're looking forward to in 2022. You can find us on Facebook at Cinematic Adventures or at the Misfit Faction. Both pages are on Facebook. You can like, comment, share, all those things with your friends. And you can also find us on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you'll find links to all of our shows, including MF Uncensored and the Multiverse Fancast, our new MF Uncensored being our newest show, Multiverse Fancast being our first show. And then you can also find us on YouTube, the Misfit Faction Media Network, and on Instagram, the Misfit Faction, and on Twitter at Misfit Faction. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys also for, again, being understanding of our little vacation. We are happy to be back, and we will be back next week with, I think, maybe Ghostbusters? Question mark? I don't know. We'll figure it out. And
when have we ever had a plan?
Usually when I post on Wednesday what we're going to record on Saturday.
So I'll wait for your post. I'll be shocked just like everyone else.
Just like everybody else. But that's going to wrap us up. As always, I'm Paul.
I'm Sean.
And we'll be back next week.